Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. A football field in Prince Albert has officially been named in honor of a former coach. Jasmine Pelche has more.
On Saturday, a group of more than 40 people gathered on a football field in East Prince Albert in recognition of a coach who helped PA minor football become what it is today. Until his passing in 2018, Wendell Witter coached the Pee Wee Prince Albert River Riders. He began coaching when the first team started in 2008.
I'm very thankful every day that to have known Wendell and for him to have the influence on my life and on, as we've said, countless players and families' lives through his involvement in our sport.
On Saturday, the field was officially renamed in his honor as the Wendell Witter Field.
He was a very humble man. He probably would have, shied away from it or turned it down, not thinking that it was warranted or deserved or earned. But there would be a great sense of pride. He may not show it, but definitely would be proud of what happened here today.
PA minor football president Taras Kichkowski said Witter was responsible for creating the city's indoor flag football program, among other community contributions. Kichkowski says he was also a pastor at his church.
Naming this field after Wendell is so fitting. Wendell probably spent more time on this field over a 10-year span than any other person. He was first here, the last to leave, and always showed up for his coaches, players, and his parents.
The field is located at 998 Brannion Drive. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
It was a historic day for the survivors of the Isle Lacrosse Residential School today. Premier Scott Moe offered a formal apology on behalf of the province for the abuse many of those who attended the school endured. The province will be paying $40.2 million in restitution to former students and families of those who attended the residential school, intended to promote reconciliation and healing.
Residential, whether it be day or industrial schools, are a shameful mark on Canada's history, with harmful intergenerational impacts on Indigenous and Métis people. Simply put, these schools were a mistake, and they shouldn't have existed.
Residential school survivors who were in attendance shared their stories following the apology. Already Monday and already a new week, so what do we have in terms of weather there, Jeff?
Well, things are actually looking quite promising in terms of the warm temperatures sticking around. It looks as though the month of October will be, on average, above seasonal with regard to temperatures, but there's a bit of a downward trend on its way, but just getting back to where temperatures would probably pretty typically be this time of year. But right now we're keeping our eye on some of this moisture that's moving up from the Pacific Northwest and Northern California into BC and parts of Alberta. Some of it might show up in western parts of Saskatchewan as we make our way into the evening hours. Otherwise, we're looking at a large push of warm air that is impacting Saskatchewan, parts of southern Alberta, and parts of Manitoba. So we'll talk more about the numbers later on.
Saskatoon police are investigating a death over the weekend as a homicide. Officers were called to St. Paul's Hospital yesterday morning at about 3:30 for a person suffering from serious injuries. He later died of those injuries. No other details about where the person was injured have been released, but police are looking for anyone with information on his attack and death to come forward. Turning now to a major development in a century-old mystery in Saskatoon. A woman's body found in a well has now been identified as Alice Spence. Nearly 20 years ago, a work crew excavating this Saskatoon corner uncovered an old well with human remains inside. Her identity has been a mystery until now. To identify Alice Spence, police used investigative genetic genealogy, a relatively new tool that combines family tree research with DNA analysis. Police believe Spence's body was wrapped in burlap, placed in a barrel, and dropped down the well. While her body was discovered in 2006, police believe she died sometime between 1916 and 1918. Police say they have evidence of who was involved in the death, but refuse to share the suspect's name. Spence's great-granddaughter says she's grateful to finally learn the details of her family.
Learning about Alice's life and the way she had been hidden away from history for so long is both surreal and emotional for our family.
Camp says she plans to create a gravestone to honor her great-grandmother, whose story she now knows. A judge has reserved her sentencing decision for a Saskatoon man who admitted to spying on and recording women. 36-year-old Kyle Hamiluk pleaded guilty to 23 counts of voyeurism and 2 counts of breaching probation. He has prior convictions for voyeurism in 2017 and 2020. Today, the Crown read victim impact statements from 5 women that Hamiluk secretly watched or recorded through the windows of their homes. The Crown and defense have jointly recommended a nearly 3-year sentence, but disagree on one of the conditions. With credit for time served, Hamiluk would have about 7 months left to serve. The judge is expected to deliver her decision Thursday morning. A Saskatoon man will spend the next 12 years behind bars for stabbing and killing a man outside a gas station nearly 2 years ago. Eugene Case pleaded guilty to the lesser offense of manslaughter and was given a 15-year sentence this morning at Court of King's Bench in Saskatoon. Case was charged with second-degree murder after stabbing and killing Warren Pegg outside of a Fire Creek Gas and Grill in December of 2023. The court heard today Case had a history of violent convictions prior to killing Pegg and was likely under a meth-induced psychosis when he stabbed Pegg. Outside the courthouse, Pegg's father said he was just glad that some justice was served.
And 15 years is not a lifetime because he's young, but it's closure for us.
Case will be eligible for parole in 2031. The Ministry of Health has issued another alert for Saskatoon following multiple overdoses linked to another mix of deadly drugs making their rounds in the city. The ministry says the drugs circulating are pink and purple or brown rock-like chunks. They're sold as fentanyl, but tests have shown they contain benzodiazepines, which cause a sedation effect. It's suspected that some of those drugs also contain carfentanil. Officials say Prairie Harm Reduction, Saskatoon's supervised consumption site, has reported multiple overdoses per day recently. Naloxone can counter the effects of fentanyl, but not benzos. Organizations say time is running out for the government of Saskatchewan to renew its deal with Ottawa on $10 per day childcare before its current agreement expires in March 2026. CUPE Saskatchewan says the loss of funding will put some childcare centres at risk of closing down due to workers' wages not going up $9 an hour, along with families not being able to afford care. Childcare Now Saskatchewan says a deal needs to be signed sooner than later, as expanding not-for-profit centres are in need all across the province.
We are at a crisis for expansion and workforce. We cannot expand if we don't have the workforce, and we need to pay people what they're worth in this province. So that's the other big challenge for this deal, and that's what people are waiting for.
Flags at some City of Saskatoon facilities were lowered to half-mast yesterday to honor police and peace officers who have died in the line of duty. Police and Peace Officers National Memorial Day is observed on the last Sunday in September of each year. It honors the dedication, service, and sacrifice of officers who work to keep Canadians safe while paying tribute to those who have lost their lives in the line of duty. Note the symbol of lowering the flag is meant to serve as a solemn reminder of the risks taken every day by police and peace officers. The day was first proclaimed in 1998, recognizing the role officers play in ensuring public safety and upholding the law. And in Regina, police officers marched down Albert Street to the Saskatchewan Legislative Building, paying respect to the officers who gave their lives to protect Canadians and communities. More than 900 peace officers across Canada have fallen, including 65 in Saskatchewan. Wreaths were laid by local dignitaries in honor of all officers who have died. After the break, North Battleford's fire chief represents our province at a national conference. Jasmine Pelche finds out how the Canadian Association of Fire Chiefs conference went. North Battleford Fire Chief Lindsay Holm represented our province in Winnipeg last week for a gathering of fire chiefs from across the country. Jasmine Pelche finds out how it went.
All right, what were some of your main goals going into the conference? Well, I think with respect to it, I was representing the Saskatchewan Association of Fire Chiefs as I'm the second vice president for them. And I think one of our goals there was to just sort of relay what we have going on in the province in terms of issues in the fire service. And I think from my standpoint and our association standpoint, a lot of the fire chiefs in the major centers in Saskatchewan are dealing with a lot of opioid issues, homelessness, encampments. And we've also got a pretty significant rise in costing for fire apparatus and equipment. So those were the main things that I wanted to reiterate when I was at the conference, just to see if it was something that was trending just provincially or if it was broader than that. And that was the one thing I did find out at that conference. The chiefs in the province of Saskatchewan are not alone. I think all of the chiefs that spoke as part of the National Advisory Committee are experiencing all the same issues.
So was there anything that came up that was surprising to you?
Actually, I think I wasn't shocked by anything there, to be honest. But I think what really helped was the networking that we were able to do, being able to sit down with other fire chiefs and just kind of work through some solutions and understanding what's working in one community and whether or not I could apply it to our community as well. And I was able to sit down with Prince Albert's chief, Saskatoon and Regina as well. And we had some good, frank discussions about how things are going in our communities and how each of us are dealing with it. And it seems like we're dealing with them very similar. And I think we're dealing with them quite prudently at the present time. But I think as the Canadian Association of Fire Chiefs starts looking at data as well. And that was another thing that we were focused on is having a Canadian-wide database that we were able to draw information off of to be able to facilitate our discussions, both at a municipal level and a provincial level, and I would say at a national level as well.
Were there any other concerns that were addressed at the conference or any other primary concerns facing Saskatchewan right now?
No, I think the ones that I've provided you there are the ones that are driving our work right now. And they're our main focus, I believe, because it's probably I would say about 75% of what I do on a day-to-day basis is dealing with those issues. So it is something that's on the forefront of every fire chief's mind because we're all dealing with the same issues.
I guess, is there anything that we didn't talk about that it's important to get across?
I think one of the big takeaways is this thing's going to be to try and mitigate these things within any city. It's going to require multi-level solutions at different levels of government. So that's going to be one of our primary focuses, is to try and build those connections and make sure that we're being able to provide the best service we can for the citizens of our cities.
Okay, that's it for me. I guess, did you have anything else that you wanted to add or any final?
I'm good, Jasmine. Thank you very much for your time, though. I greatly appreciate it.
After the break, Jeff has your Monday weather forecast and a busy weekend for the Western Hockey League's top-ranked team. All right, Jeff, we're closing in on October. Are we starting to get some of that October temperatures, or are we still in September temps?
Well, I think we're still in early September temperatures in many respects, but as we head towards the weekend, things are starting to drop a little bit, and then early part of next week, it will be a lot more like typical October weather. But for now, we're dealing with a warm push of air. I mentioned this earlier on, coming up from the U.S., keeping our eye on some of this moisture moving up the west coast of North America and into parts of British Columbia and ultimately, Alberta, we might start to see a little something, let's say up around Meadow Lake and points north as we make our way into tomorrow. So we'll keep our eye on that. And it's a north-south line, so we don't expect it to be hammering a large portion of the province at any given time. So let's take a look and see what we got going on. Did I hit the right button? Yes, I sure did. There we go. So our futurecast indicating that, yes, there's a bit of a low-pressure area. It's moving across. These pressure lines are going to get fairly close together, so we're expecting a bit of a windy Tuesday in store. Let's take a look and see what we've got going on with our details. So overnight, starting off with Spiritwood, 10 degrees, 12 in the Battlefords, 8 in Candle Lake and Nipawin, 9 in Birch Hills and Rostern, and 10 in Melfort. Most locations are dealing with clearing skies or mainly clear skies. And as you can see with those temperatures, we do not anticipate anyone having to deal with the possibility of frost. Then as we roll into tomorrow, National Truth and Reconciliation Day, 23 degrees with mainly cloudy skies in Spiritwood, mainly cloudy in the Battlefords, 26 as well. Excuse me, in Candle Lake, but that's under mainly sunny skies, mainly sunny in Birch Hills, 27, mainly sunny in Rostern, 26. Big time sunshine in Nipawin, 27 degrees and 1 degree warmer with sunny skies in Melfort, 28 for the high. For Prince Albert and area. Tonight, dropping down to 8 degrees under mainly clear skies, winds out of the southeast, 20, but it backs off in the overnight. And then tomorrow, as we take a look at mainly sunny skies, the winds pick up a little bit, winds from the southeast, 20, gusting to 40, so still a southerly flow, still a warm flow of air coming up from the States. And then into our 7-day forecast, we'll look at that. As I mentioned, 26 degrees for tomorrow, and then back to work Tuesday for most people. We're looking at mainly sunny skies and 22 degrees. Mainly cloudy on Thursday, 19 degrees, 20 on Friday, and into the weekend, 17 degrees on Saturday, so that's above seasonal, but then just a hair below seasonal on Sunday, 13 degrees and staying at 13. And yes, those overnight temperatures, anticipating that we're going to be dropping onto the minus side of the thermometer. So it may be time just to say, okay, we had a good run, garden. We had a good run, flowers. And now that the time has come. So we might have to also start blowing out sprinklers and things like that.
Absolutely. Well, when you see those negative temperatures, that's definitely one thing that you're going to want to do, clear those out. Yep. Thanks, Jeff. Well, the Saskatoon Blades split their weekend with a win and a loss on the road. On Friday night, the Blades gave up 3 straight goals in the first period before turning on the offense with a 5-goal effort of their own. They ended up winning it 5-3. In their first game back from NHL camps, David Lewandowski and Hunter Lang both had a goal and an assist. Then on Saturday in Medicine Hat, another slow start from the Blades, giving up 3 goals in the first. They couldn't claw back into it, losing 4-1 to the Tigers. Next up for them is the Red Deer Rebels coming to town in Saskatoon on Friday. The Prince Albert Raiders, meanwhile, picking up all 4 possible points over the weekend as they went out on the road themselves. Starting in Regina on Friday, the Raiders shot out to a 4-0 lead before the Pats caught as close as 4-3. But 2026 NHL draft eligible Daxon Rudolph scored the eventual game winner, part of a 3-point night for him. 6-4 the final after trading goals late. Then the Raiders went to Brandon on Saturday, trailing 4-2 in the third period. They were able to tie it up with less than 3 minutes to go. In overtime, Aiden Oiring was the overtime hero despite some online debate over the play that led to the goal. The Raiders will host the Red Deer Rebels on Saturday night. And the Saskatoon Hilltops and Regina Thunder went head-to-head in Prairie Football Conference action Saturday night in Saskatoon. It was the second and deciding game of the Shriner Bowl. It was 17-7 Thunder heading into the break at halftime until the Hilltops closed the gap midway through the fourth quarter with a 5-yard touchdown run. But a Regina interception for a touchdown put the Thunder out in front, and a last-minute interception sealed the 24-21 win for Regina. The win puts Regina at 6-1. The Hilltops 5-2. The Shrine Bowl winds up going to each team as they tied in total points. The Hilltops face the Calgary Colts from SMF Field on Sunday. The University of Saskatchewan Huskies have improved their record to 4-1 after a convincing road win in Calgary. Huskies quarterback Anton Amandroud threw for a career high with 429 passing yards and 5 touchdowns on Saturday. The Huskies' run game was successful too, with 215 yards on the ground, including a Caden Miller 31-yard touchdown run in the fourth quarter. The win puts the Huskies at the top of the Canada West standings, alongside Regina, who is also 4-1. The Huskies are at home against the Alberta Golden Bears on Saturday night. A new primary health clinic is opening in Fort Capel. This morning, a ribbon-cutting ceremony took place for the Eagle's Nest Primary Health Care Clinic, located beside All Nations Healing Hospital. The facility's main purpose is to cut down on emergency room wait times by providing treatment for less urgent medical issues. The medical center will initially operate Monday to Friday, with the option to expand to 6 or 7 days a week based on community needs.
The clinic is a lot of First Nations understanding of health and medical needs, mental health, as well as the Western medical practices. And it's blending those two together, because it's not just about prescribing medications. Sometimes it's about addressing mental health needs.
The clinic will be open to patients starting early next week.
Brought to you by Saskatchewan Union of Nurses. Thank you to Saskatchewan's 11,000 registered nurses.
All right, Jeff, the reason you didn't get a speeding ticket on the weekend, because the Battle of the Badges was taking place this weekend at Merlis Belcher Place. About 1,000 fans packed the stands for the first annual Battle of the Badges hockey game, which pitted local police officers and firefighters against each other. The matchup between both teams saw lots of penalties, but fans were treated to a good game, Jeff, and the event obviously raising money for the Cancer Foundation of Saskatchewan, and they did reach their goal of $30,000. And I was told, Jeff, that the police won this one 5-2, so I wonder if they were out celebrating and enjoying that one, or what they do to celebrate a big win like that. I mean, it is for charity.
Exactly. Absolutely. We'll just leave it there.
National News is next. Thanks for tuning in.